My name's Madeline. Today I decided to make this video about unit assessments. I have a lot of new referrals who just started teaching classes, and when they get their first assessment, they always message me saying, what should I know? What should I be prepared for? And so these are just a few of the tips that I've learned over my past year with Vipkid that I wanted to share with you. So number one with the assessment, one of the biggest things that I like to do before is look through old teacher feedback. If it's one of your regular students, that's one thing, but when you're jumping in and teaching someone else's student, then it's really nice to go ahead and see what level they're already at. So I'll go through, and then that gives you a really good indicator. Are you going to need to extend, or are you going to need to kind of pick up the pace and rush through it? So if they're saying the student's really delayed, they don't understand anything, they can't read, you're probably going to need to move through the material quickly because you're going to have to reteach a lot. But if you get on and see you need to extend with questions, then that gives you a good indicator. Have some extension material ready, because if they know the material, they can fly through those assessments. I had one student go through so quickly once that we had 10 minutes left at the end. And that is a stressful situation as a new teacher. And so look at that past report, look at teacher feedback, and then get a good indicator of where the student already is functioning. So my other hugest tip is have extension ready. Go through the unit, kind of see what they're talking about, have some extension ready. My favorite things to do are to have the child spell their sight words or vocabulary words from the unit on that blank slide on the end. I always go to that if I need some quick extension. I also sometimes will have them do, if it's lesson 12, an extra unit assessment project, kind of work through one of those together at the end if they finish really fast. Another thing that I like to do is have them come up with sentences for their sight words. A lot of times they're really good at this. And so I'll have them come up with a sentence for each of their sight words. So those are a few things that I do as I'm going throughout the lesson. So we'll get to the sight words page, and then I see we're going pretty quickly. I'll go to the end and have them spell them. So I try to kind of integrate that into the lesson, so that way everything's not at the end. We're not spending 10 minutes on a white page. But I like to kind of add those things in when the child's moving through things quickly. Another thing I like to have on hand is flashcards. So if we're doing food, I'll have some food flashcards. Or if we're doing colors, I'll have some color flashcards and use those for extension questions. You can always ask the kind of upper level 2 kids different animals. You can ask them different colors. I use colors a lot to extend. So those are just some ideas. Always have some extension ready, especially if you read in the teacher feedback that the child is going through the material quickly. So if the child is struggling a lot, be ready to fly through the roadmap page. They have the map page with typical kids that are going through at perfect pacing. I spend a minute on the little roadmap page. So I'll go level 1, yay, level 1, and kind of have them draw and trace and circle. If the child's struggling, I fly through that slide. And I go to the slide with the material, and then once they hit that point where they're not going to get 2 or 3 points, once I know they're going to get 1 point, I start teaching. And so kind of look at the assessment feedback form ahead of time, and if you know that they're not going to be getting all of the answers correctly, just start teaching. Don't go through and test them on each one if they've already hit that low point, because there's no point in having them finding out that they get a 0 on everything and then going back and reteaching. Go ahead and reteach right away. Move on, keep it going, because you want to teach, you want to correct, but you also need to get through the assessment. One other tip is when you're taking notes, I always have a sheet of paper or something, or a sticky note, and my pen. Let the parent see your pen. If you're looking down, they could think that you're texting or something. This is a little trick that I picked up on right when I started working for the company, and something that I always make sure to do. I never want to get accused of looking at my phone or not paying attention to the student. So when I'm writing stuff down while they're going, I have my pen up. And I like to take detailed notes while I'm going through if they're missing something over and over again, or with older students that have sentence frames that they're missing, I like to write down exactly what they're writing so that I can give thorough feedback. So show them their pen. It's okay to write, but make sure that they see that you're writing. Another thing is look at the answer key beforehand, especially if you're a new teacher. This is going to help you a lot. Sometimes there are little vocabulary and sentences that Vipkid's teaching that might not seem natural to you, or maybe a different word could fit there, but Vipkid is teaching it one way. And so you want to go ahead and go through, look at the answers just for your first view at least. When you're going through the assessment, sometimes they have the answers and cues on the bottom of the page, but if they don't for some reason, you can always, good job, as you open up that feedback, and you could scroll through and look for what the proper answer is. That's happened to me once or twice where I didn't know the exact word they were looking for, so I was able to pull that up while I was saying good job or listening to an answer, and I was able to find out what I was really looking for. In your feedback to the parents, be honest, but also be complimentary. So I like to give a lot of compliments. I like to do a sandwich, so I kind of do something nice, how it was great to see the student, what they were doing great on. I give feedback that's honest about what they were missing and then ways that they can maybe work on it at home. And then I always close with, like, if the child is terrible, I'll even close with, it was a joy to work with Elsa today. She always works so hard in class. She's a wonderful student, and something positive like that. So I like to leave it on a positive note, even if they bomb the assessment. And just be honest. I think the parents want you to be honest. Try to give points. Don't be overly stingy if you know the child gets it, and sometimes they're just being like smart or sassy and they're saying certain things. Don't count them off if they can do it, but also if they truly don't understand it, don't lie, don't buffer. Be honest to the parents. They appreciate it. And give them ways and tips and things that they can do at home to maybe improve on the skills that they're missing. Another thing for lesson 12 is projects. So what I like to do with projects, ahead of time I'll look and see what project they're planning on doing. And if I open my slides early, so before I get into the classroom, I will go ahead and open onto the project assessment page. So that way when they come, they open up their computer, they're there a few minutes early, they see, oh yeah, my project was due today. And I've seen some of them run off before and go grab it or make something real quick. But that kind of gives them a heads up that the project's due today. If they didn't do the project or they don't understand what you're asking for, I always say, good, okay, and just scoot forward, start doing the next one. I try to keep my pace going quickly throughout the class, and at the end, I go to the blank slide, and I'll have them do one of the projects, the one that I picked, that I think is the easiest usually, and then I give them at least the 2 points. So try to give them the points for the project. If for some reason they don't have it and you don't get time to do it, write that in the feedback. Explain what happened. Explain, I asked for the project, the student did not have it. The parent should understand why those points are missing. So basically, my biggest tips with your first assessment, be familiar with the material, be familiar with what the answers should be, and then really be flexible with the student. If they're moving fast, have plans to extend, and if they're moving slow, be ready to pick up the pace and move through the material, and then be honest with the parents in the feedback. So your assessment will go great. I love assessments. I think they're so much fun. It's great to see the students' projects. It's really great to see how far they've come in their English, and they get so excited when they're able to start communicating with you about different things that build on top of their lesson material. And so you'll do great with your first assessment. I hope these tips helped. If you have any questions, feel free to put them below, and I'll see y'all next time.